A Chinese destroyer locks fire control radar onto a U.S. carrier group. General quarters across the deck. In 90 seconds, the question isn't firepower, it's who owns the sensor picture. We break down how an E-2D Hawkeye quarterbacked the fight, how Growlers cut the lock without firing a shot, and how SM-6, ESSM, and CIWS stacked a kill box over open water. If you think this was about who had the bigger missile, watch what electronic attack did to the targeting chain. Who blinked, and why did the carrier survive? Comment your choice below. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. You hear the alarm. Not from a missile. From a lock. That tone means a weapon-grade radar has you in its crosshairs. A missile is a single threat.
Fresh escalation of tensions. The US military reported of a Chinese military ship's movement in an unsafe manner. The incident occurred as Changchun was in a joint mission with a Canadian warship in the sensitive waterway that separates Taiwan from China.
A lock is intent backed by physics, and it flips the battle from search to shoot in seconds. On the destroyer's mast, a fire control beam tightens onto the formation. It stops sweeping and stares. That stare tells computers to pull range, bearing, and closure with rifle shot precision, the data a missile needs to ride all the way in. On the carrier and escorts, General Quarters snaps the ship from routine to war rhythm. Hatches dog down. Doors seal. Teams sprint to stations.
This engagement comes in less than 10 days of a reported aggressive maneuver by a Chinese fighter jet. However, Beijing has said that it monitored the route of the American destroyer, but didn't engage in any close encounter.
In combat, weapons tight, takes hold, fingers on safe, radars at full power, missiles warmed, rules of engagement loaded in the brain as hard as any circuit. You can fire. You want to fire. But the mission is to hold the line, not light the fuse of a crisis. Shoot too soon and you gift the other side a pretext. Wait too long and you could be flooding compartments while damage control fights for steel and oxygen.
According to the US Indo-Pacific Command, the Chinese ship executed maneuvers in an unsafe manner in the vicinity of Changchun. Although US and Canada frequently sail through the strait for joint exercises, China claims the island nation of Taiwan as its own territory.
Every voice on net knows the stakes: break the lock without breaking the peace. Above the stack, the E-2D Hawkeye calls the play. Its crew stitches a single air picture from many eyes: shipboard spy, 1 tracks, fighter radar returns, passive sniffers riding heat and emissions. It pushes that picture over link 16 so every escort, every F-18, sees the same truth with the same labels. Unknowns get IDs. Angles turn into lanes. The chaos becomes a map you can fight. The chain tightens. Aegis sorts contacts, tags the threat radar, and draws engagement zones like invisible fences.
An American destroyer during this Saturday transit. According to the US military, the American warship had to slow down by 10 knots.
All armed with hypersonic missiles that travel so fast, our defenses were never designed to stop them. The question is no longer whether one American carrier can survive such an attack. The real question is whether we're willing to accept that the global balance of power has changed.
It assigns shooters by geometry and magazine health, sets intercept lines by range, speed, and dive angle, and keeps reserve shots in pocket for the second and third problem. Fighters push the horizon outward, dragging the detection ring farther than ship masts can reach, and the network moves decisions along faster than a human head can swivel. When a clock runs in single digits, you offload thinking to the system built to think that fast. Meanwhile, the EA-18G Growlers come alive. Pods spin up and flood the fire control bands with energy. Some jamming is loud, a wall of noise that drowns the lock.
It's the backbone of China's modern naval doctrine, and it represents a profound shift in how wars at sea could be fought. When we discuss the image of 40 Chinese warships facing an American aircraft carrier, we're not describing some theoretical scenario cooked up by academics.
Some is sly, deceptive tricks that smear range gates and nudge the radar off the target by inches that matter. False echoes bloom where steel is not. Real returns look soft and slippery. The hostile set has to choose, keep the lock and risk pointing at a ghost, or break, reset, and search into a blizzard. Think of the lock as a spotlight on a stage. The Growler doesn't smash the light, it fills the air with mirrors and fog so the beam can't find a face. The operator sees movement, then haze, then nothing he can call a clean shot.
They are building something fundamentally different, something designed to turn our greatest strength into a critical weakness. They are building coordinated naval swarms. We're describing a situation that Chinese naval strategists have been planning, practicing, and perfecting for over 20 years.
Down on deck, the layered defense waits, live but silent. At the far rim, long sticks like SM-6 hold out a hand for high flyers or anything that tries to loft and dive. Closer in, ESSM covers the sprinting threats, the fast knots that hug sea spray. At the skin, CIWS tracks on rails, a last-ditch torrent keyed to muzzle memory and short-range radar. It's a moving dome you don't notice until it needs to harden in an instant, built on doctrine that turns ugly flight paths into math problems with answers. The moment breaks. Not because something exploded, but because the chain upstream snapped. The hostile radar can't hold a face in the fog. The track quality degrades. Targeting gates drift. The lock drops, and with it the immediate path to a shot. The carrier group breathes without exhaling a missile. The sea stays loud with radars and radios, not warheads. The hardware did its job, but doctrine carried the weight. Timing, rolls, and restraint work together as a single playbook. Now we get inside that play and break down how electronic attack and Aegis layers turn a near shoot into a controlled reset, one deliberate move at a time. The decisive weapon wasn't a missile. It was the network. One eye blinded, one eye fed, and a window of calm held long enough to keep tankers moving and warheads cold. That is deterrence with a circuit and a playbook, not a salvo. Who blinked, the jammer or the locked destroyer? Comment your choice below. If you want the tactical mindset behind moments like this, subscribe now. The next lesson lives in seconds, not speeches. In the next crisis, the side that owns the first 90 seconds of the sensor fight will own the next 90 miles of ocean. That's the race. And it starts at contact.